Hello interwebs, 'tis I, Sebastian Piccione, and this is F3G2, coming to you live from the glorious back room of Famous Faces and Funnies. Get your fun on games, and being broadcast on the GonnaGeek.com, and on YouTube if you don't feel like getting over there. But I say while you're there, get over there. There's stuff you can geek, because we're gonna geek. All right, we're gonna kick in with this giant stack of books here, but they're irrelevant. Nothing matters anymore because Forever Evil number 7 has finally come out with the most important, significant, game-changing event in the entire New 52. All right, I've been waiting because Jeff Johns said it was going to happen, and it did. There is a Ted Cord. There's a Ted Cord in the New 52. Look at him there. I want that shirt. All right, graffiti design. If you're watching, you're not, but if you are, I want that shirt. I want the Beetle logo with Cord Industries underneath it in yellow on a light blue shirt. You can make that happen. So yeah, the rest, everything else is there's no more show. That's it. Ted's back.
Sit down.
Fine, I'll review things. It was really good. We had to wait for it, obviously, because we were waiting on Finch artwork, and I'm glad they did, in so much as it finished that look, and this is going to look great when I buy the hardcover, because it's got Ted in it. Buying a hardcover for a page. Yeah, baby.
You have a sickness.
Yeah, I gotta get out more. Also, who's gonna be the bad? Who's the bad? I'm gonna spoil it for you, internet. So if you don't like spoilers, is it 3, 2, 1? Who's so bad and scary that they could chase the crime syndicate all the way over? I lost the page.
Back, all the way in the back.
Is it behind the other? There's so many surprising reveals. There's a New 52 anti-monitor. That, and the fact that in an interview, it was revealed, Vanetta over on Newsarama asked point blank and got a stammering, what'd you talk about? Answer from Dan DiDio. She's like, is it a coincidence that all the weekly titles end the month before the 30th anniversary of Crisis on Infinite Earths? And he's like, I don't want to talk about that. So, could be. We get Multiversity and suddenly a return of the Anti-Monitor. But this was really, really good. Lex is great. Jeff Johns at this point writes Lex Luthor better than he writes Superman. Also, I know that Lex and Batman are going to square off. They've teased that in the coming issues of Justice League. But I didn't realize the level it was going to come out. Oh my goodness. Lex, really? You can't figure that crap out for Superman, but you can figure it out for Batman? I mean, I guess, really, it makes sense that if anybody, after the Nightwing reveal, if somebody's going to put some pieces together, it's going to be Mr. Luthor. That was my Ned Beatty impersonation. In case you won't. Dun, 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 dun. This was so good. All sorts of wonderful reveals. I knew what was going to happen with Bizarro, but I was sad. And you can see Lex plays it off like, but there are so many great character moments for Lex. At this point, Lex is not just a character who doesn't think of himself as the bad guy. Lex really is. There is a heroic side to his anti-hero and to his villain. He's like all three. It's literally, don't pigeonhole Lex Luthor. He is neither a hero nor a villain, and you can't even slap neatly the anti-hero tag on him. He is Lex Luthor, greatest criminal mind of our time. Speaking of, he puts himself on the Justice League with logic. That they're all like, no. Superman's like, but no. because villain. And they're like, meh. Also, what does make me sad. All right, so here's Justice League number 30 and Justice League of America number 14. All right, this is like a great kickoff and a great beginning, and we get a hint of the Doom Patrol that looks like a Doom Patrol, although clearly the Chief isn't in a wheelchair yet. So someone gets to be really mean to him in an upcoming story. It just kind of break his back. Wonder Woman puts the lasso on Lex. Barry is the referee of the entire Justice League. Lex reveals the truth, and again, Johns writes brilliant Lex Luthor because Lex's truths are brilliantly Lex's truths. It's just, you'll have to read it to see that. But this made me a little sad. Mostly because there was a lot of weight for really what is just like a... It's just to tie it up, and and because it's so late compared to Justice League United already coming out, most of this was unnecessary. We kind of got what happened here to start off. It does do a nice Martian Manhunter and Stargirl are like a Batman and Robin. They're like they're a little pair now. You spent a lot of time inside each other's heads, and now they're kind of bonded. That was cool. But the price I pay for a Ted Kord return to the DCU is Vibe and Element Girl have disappeared with no trace, as if they were never there. Everybody remembers them, but somehow they're gone as if they were never there.
They seem to cease to have exist.
I don't know where they went. They show a panel of Vibe running somewhere, and when they talk about it, I don't know where he went. So wherever he is, it's unpleasant, but whatever. Also, they went through a lot to introduce this Simon Baz. He's a cool character. They have basically said, he's just going to bugger off. They make a mention that could tie him back into regular Justice League with some of the upcoming stories, but for the most part, he's now just Superfluous Lantern. And I like him, and since he's the only one, Hal made that deal Hal made a deal with Guy. Guy and the Red Lanterns get Sector 2814. We are no longer in a Green Lantern protected sector. We are protected by Red Lanterns. They did agree that Simon could stay on Earth, because even Guy thought putting one of the Red Lanterns on the Justice League was not the greatest plan. So he's the only Green Lantern allowed to be on Earth. What are they going to do with him? I don't know. I hope we'll get to him. XFactor number 8. It's got Warlock on the cover. It makes me happy. And my boy's not dead. That also makes me happy. This is so great. Because really, even though it's an all-new XFactor, with mostly all new characters from the previous XFactor incarnation, it's still Peter David writing XFactor. And Peter David is Peter David. Really, that's a review in and of itself. Peter David is the man that even a stroke couldn't stop. All right? Because his brain is like, I laugh at your stroke, for I am far too powerful for your mere medical... Puh, I spit at your medical description. I will fight this, and I will regain for Peter Davidtude. Which isn't a thing, but should be. I would like more Peter Davidtude in my life. But this book is so good. It is all character. I mean, stuff happens. Don't get me wrong. There's stories and they're brilliant, but everybody talks about it's organic and character driven. But Peter David doesn't talk about it. He just freaking writes it. All right. He just writes people that sound like people and have distinct voices and ask all sorts of cool questions, and it really makes you think. This was a really, really good issue. Amazing Spider-Man number 2, Return of Peter Parker. Best sit down, just Peter and Anna Maria just sit down, and basically Peter's like, look, the me you've been with wasn't me. And true to character, as she's done before when she gets stressed out, she's like, I need to cook. And Peter's like, what? And she goes, I think better when I'm cooking. So she just starts baking cookies. And he's like, oh my God. He brings the cookies to the Avengers. It's kind of awesome. Peter finds out that Flash is Venom. He was less than happy. Also, Peter, for Parker Industries, they've got a new launch that they're going for, because they were going to do all this, nanotech kind of stuff that was really Doc Ock's forte, and Peter knows shit all about it. So it wasn't going to work. But he comes up with a new calling that is so him. It's just so him, and it's just such a big, grand, noble thing that Peter Parker would try and take on. So naturally it says, next issue, how could this possibly go wrong? Because clearly it's going to. So I'm loving that.
Better question.
You get
How many ways can it go wrong?
It is going to go wrong at least 7 issues. But also you get some Peter Parker, Johnny Storm, Peter just recovering from the Doc Ock incident, and Johnny currently depowered, as in the mediocre to crappy Fantastic Four run that's happening right now. But there's some cool, he talks to Captain America, and Cap's like, look, I've been frozen, I came back, it's hard, you'll adjust, blah, blah. He talks to Johnny, Johnny's like, yeah, I was dead for a while when I was in the negative zone, coming back was a bit, so, it's a weird thing that happened to Peter, but because he is a superhero in the Marvel Universe,
they get it.
He's got enough people that there's like a support group, so that's kind of cool. Red Hood and the Outlaws, which I usually don't read.
Yeah, I thought you.
I haven't read this in a while, but I read number 31 for two reasons. One,
Bobo.
but one is as Pfeiffer. What was his first name? Is it Will? Yeah, Will Pfeiffer wrote this, and he's going to be writing Titans in their comeback, and I wanted to see how Pfeiffer's writing game is at the moment, so I could decide whether or not a return to Titans was in my future. Looks like it will be. Also, it's got the real Lobo on it, even though it ends with the fake Lobo finding the real Lobo. Well, not finding him like physically, but figuring out where he is. And I think I had a war with that guy. I hate everything about this Lobo, because this Lobo made so much money for DC. Why would you just kick it in the teeth with this like 90s image looking guy? These weird blue things. I don't like him.
We don't need reminders of Liefeld.
I don't like him. But this was really, really good. Also, they used Lobo not just as a bruiser. Our Lobo, real Lobo. The main man, Lobo. He's not just the bruiser. And they didn't at all use him as a joke. He was thinking, mercenary, bad guy. It was just really good. And if they can write him that good, why the f*** do they need this other Lobo? Just make our Lobo kill the new Lobo. Can we do that, please? Someone get on that. Bring back Slobo. Name that guy Slobo. Something, but
There's an insult to Slobo.
it could be. Batman, Superman, number 11. I like the number 11. This is chapter 3 of Infected. The 4th part of the Doomed story, because there was Doomed and then Infected 1, 2, and now 3. I'm liking this story. Crypto is awesome. I've always felt so. And now that Crypto looks like a wolf and not like a saber tooth, I'm really happy. But Crypto is awesome. Batman and Wonder Woman go into the Phantom Zone. Steel, who we just saw get covered in liquid or in organic, what do you call it? Organic steel?
Yeah.
Organic metal is now, he's put the pieces of the armor over the organic metal. He looks like Steel again. All right, he's got the helmet, he's got the pieces, he's got the S. He looks like Steel. Also, this issue may as well be called WWSMD, because everybody is doing what would Superman do. Batman is like, I know how I want to handle this, but I'm honoring Clark here. I'm trying to do. Wonder Woman is like, I'm just going to stab some shit. No. Clark's willing to sacrifice himself for everybody. I'm going to handle this the way he would. Steel, they're yelling at Steel. You were trying to save our lives, but you ended up almost risking the whole world if everybody else, if bad guys got out of the Phantom Zone while you were trying to save us. When he's like, I told you to close it, and Steel's like, I know, and I should have, but I thought, what would Superman, what would Clark do? And there's all these great moments because Superman's supposed to be that inspiration, and in the New 52, he hasn't really been terribly inspiring. So it's good to see
It finally is.
that, to different levels and different degrees, each one is going with the same, how do I think Superman would do this? But they're still handling it like themselves. So, Greg Pak wrote a really, really good issue here with just everybody kind of trying to live up to the model that Superman presents, and that's awesome. That's Superman right there. Original Sin. I keep forgetting I want to get my hands on one of the little glowing bouncy ball eye promos while I brew these, but I keep forgetting, and I don't know if they're out of them or not. But a really Z-list villain is behind this, or at least behind this so far, and is brilliant. I'm in love with that right there. The issue itself is okay. It has some really, really good moments. I wasn't as caught up as I was with parts. What is this? This is number 2 with part 1 and the Zero. The Zero was amazing, but it's Jason Aaron, so you can't go wrong. Diodato on art, so it's very dark. Everybody's in a shadow. It's always an eclipse in Diodato world. But it was really good, lots of fun, and it's got everybody at one point or another. So, it's good there. All right, we got people talking right in the doorway while I'm trying to do this.
Why?
We got Solar Man and the Atom number 2 from Dynamite, and Magnus Robot Fighter number 3 from Dynamite. This is their Gold Key stuff. Solar was really, really good. We get the further chase them away from there. We get the further adventures of Solar's daughter getting her powers and being Solar Woman of the Atom. The math is starting to work again because his powers are all very math based. It's all very E = MC² kind of stuff. I would have to pass another year of math in order to fully understand the way his powers work. But it's good, and I'm loving it. This was rather interesting because original continuity, his wife is Lyja. Now Lyja is, well, let's just say they're not in love yet. She's like a bounty hunter whose job it is to stop people like him. He's smashing the robots. Everybody wants, to just do what the computer tells you. It's very Big Brother-y, only Big Brother's a lot more hands-on than just watching. So,
Skynet.
But she has her own theme song, and these robots that follow her around and film it. And they talk, they even it gets kind of meta in so much as they talk about how her show, part of the theme song includes how her show is 100%, how do you say it, Bechdel test, the test to see if it's, not a completely sexist story. So they've got 2 named female characters as she walks up. What is it, Nika? You see which way he went? Who talk to each other, and they finish their conversation. And it says, about something other than a man. My cat needs a new home. Interested? I'd love to, but I'm allergic. So it's just very strange. And then it starts to build, and you get the. It's both very silly and very serious at the same time, which is a tough balancing act to do, but they pull it off really well. Saga number 19 makes me very happy and very sad. I'm very happy whenever an issue of Saga comes out, but I'm very sad when I get to the end because 1, it could be a month before, it could be 3 months before I see another one, but 2, they always end. The last page of every issue is always, and this one is it's such a
Downer.
It's both. It's the picture and the caption are at odds. Skish. the picture is amazingly, oh, and then the words make you go, woo, and make me not happy.
And then, of course, there's the first page, too.
Well, the first page the first page of Saga is always a what? There's an alien giving birth, and we are right in Princess Robot's crotch as the baby is breaching. So that's a hell of a thing. Especially since they have little TV. Is the little signal not on yet on his little thing, on his little screen? So yeah, they always start with a what and end with a what, and it continues to do so. The greatest, most painful book I'll ever read. Batman Eternal, shit gets real in Penguin World. Catwoman, I'm wondering now. I was wondering how she was going to make her leap back. Not only back to a life of crime, but straight onto like criminal mastermind, like Kingpin of Gotham kind of thing. And now I'm half wondering if she's going full rogue, or if this is going to be part of the, I'm still on Team Batman, but I'm like going to handle it from the inside kind of deal. But it's good. I still don't like Professor Pig, and I don't mean don't like him like you're not supposed to like a villain. I just mean I don't like the character Professor Pig.
Ever or the new 52 version?
Ever. I'm just not a fan of Professor Pig. But is good. Penguin's going to have a long road ahead of him. Professor Pig's kind of a nut. I really just want to smack this new the new commissioner. That guy's a dick. And there's a heartbreaking scene involving Penguin with very movie version looking penguins that have little cameras on them that he sends out. He's on his ship Casino, so he sends one of them that he calls him Commander Wilhelm is one of his penguins that he sends out into the water. But if you're gonna try and take out the penguin, what do you bring with you?
Sharks?
No, they brought an orca. So suffice it to say, cameras down and Commander Wilhelm, and you get that heartbreak that only a bat villain can have when one of their little animal symbols gets taken out. Future's End continues to be good. There's a build. There's a hint at. It's hard to explain simply because this takes place 5 years from when everything else does. So we just found out that a character isn't dead who I was only peripherally aware of the fact that he wasn't supposed to be alive in 0 through 2. So it was like, oh, you're not. Oh, no, of course you're not there. Oh, no, you're supposed to be. Okay, I forgot. So there's that. But
anyway, go ahead.
Filming, thank you. But gamers, wipe them out, all of them. So yeah, this is good. It there's a lot going on, and we're still only in. This is issue 3. So we do get Grifter. We do get like I said, we get somebody who, in theory, 5 years later was supposed to be dead, but turns out may not be. We get Lois. We get Mr. Terrific, and we get Terry McGinnis breaking into Mr. Terrific's place, but nobody knows who Terry McGinnis is because he's from even further in the future. So Mr. Terrific's like, is it actually Bruce or one of Bruce's agents breaking into my place, or am I just supposed to? He's really overthinking it. He's like, or am I just supposed to think it's Bruce, or is it Bruce? And he knows it'll be so obvious that I'll think it's Bruce that I could possibly never suspect Bruce. He's getting very Wallace Shawn in The Princess Bride. With, you put the poison next to me, in front of me, which could not possibly. Yeah, he's getting that cold kind of overthinking because death is on the line kind of thought process happening. Supergirl number 31, really, really good. Who would have thought that the best thing to happen to Supergirl storylines in the New 52 would be making her a Red Lantern? I'm almost sad that she's not going to be one permanently, because this has just been really, really good. ties directly into what's been going on in Red Lanterns right now. But it's not you don't need to read this, but to follow what's going on. But you need to read this because there's some really cool stuff going on, and you get Atrocitus and Atrocitus and Dexter, so that's always a plus. Meanwhile, back on Earth, I don't know how to pronounce the new Silver Banshee's real name because I can't speak Irish and Gaelic. So when you write Siobhan, I know, however, I'm going to try to pronounce that
Siobhan.
is wrong. Was that
Siobhan.
Siobhan?
Yeah, I remember Cobble corrected us for it.
See, look at that. It's good I know people who pay more attention to people than I do. So Siobhan. Siobhan leaves some of her friends messing with the Ouija board, and Blaze is coming through. So you've got interdimensional demons back on Earth. You've got Red Lanterns up in space. Busy time to be Supergirl. Plus, World Breaker 1 is on his way. So, yeah, this is... Whew. It's tough out there for a Supergirl. Ultimate FF number 2 is okay. Really, it makes me mad because they have Tom Grummett doing breakdowns. But there is almost, and by almost, I mean there's 99% no trace of anything Tom Grummett left underneath these pencils. So why even get them? I love Tom Grummett. I would pay gladly for any Tom Grummett comic book, but instead we get Tom Grummett's name, and his distinctness is so buried that it's what. And this art is just very feathery and light, and it just kind of everything kind of blends together. So it's and the colors are so heavy, it just oversaturates all that crazy line work, and it becomes hard to see anything. But story-wise, it's okay, and apparently every man in the Ultimate Universe has a claim to the Invisible Woman. So there's that. She's constantly just telling everybody, "I'm not his girlfriend. I'm not his girl. I'm not that guy's girl." Everybody claims her as their girlfriend. Uncanny XMen number 21, so damn good. Bendis on X has just been great. This is the best of both worlds. Bendis does his exposition-y thing, but he does it with a lot of stuff happening. So it's like that moment when you're at work and someone says you're trying to talk to someone, but they got stuff to do. Like, okay, talk as we go, and you go and do stuff. That's what this issue is. They're like, okay, we're gonna have a Bendis dialogue, but we're not pulling in Avengers and sitting at the table. We got to go do shit while we're talking. Let's go fight some evil mutants and shit. So stuff is happening. Also, Magneto stumbles on what Mystique and her Brotherhood have done to Alison Blair, to Dazzler. This can't be good for Mystique. And Blob is a pathetic junkie. Who knew? Wolverine and the X-Men was both good and not great because I really like Quentin Quire, and you have to handle him just right. And I feel he wasn't handled just right through the first half of this book. Through the second half, I was back in the chair going, okay, this is Quentin Quire. And I was really happy. But for the first half, I was like, what is going on? Also, he refers to, he's like, and sexy Wolverine chick, but he's met X-23. He knows who the hell she is, so that really shouldn't happen. But yeah, what is this? Jason Latour is good. All new Dupe is all new Dupe. Dupe talks now, or at least for now. So there's that. He's still in love with Kitty Pryde, who's a little creeped out as she takes him through the margin world and gets to see how he views the world, kind of taking place in living in between the moments of stories. So she's a little freaked out. But if you like Dupe, then this is your book. If you don't like Dupe, then skip that and read something a little more straight-laced. Amazing X-Men number 7. This is look, number 007. But this is the Spider-Man His Amazing Friends issue. odd little circumstances that bring them together. And there's a lot of tension going on because the last time they saw Spider-Man, he was Superior Spider-Man, and Iceman's not terribly forgiving. But it's just really good. It's if you want, like, you know, serious. I mean, there's a lot that happens, but it's all, everything that happens is done with Bobby. It's just like the show. Bobby and Spidey are jerks, and you know, Angelica is in the middle, going, "Really, you two? We have stuff to do," and it was perfect. Batman and Frankenstein. Frankenstein was not happy with the way they last teamed up, so there's a little fight, but then they kind of team up in what used to be Nanda Parabet, but that's missing thanks to Justice League Dark. And then, yeah, they're trying to stop. They team up to try and stop Ra's from throwing the bodies of Damian and Talia into a Lazarus pit. The last words say, "No, I'm too late." So they may be thrown in a Lazarus pit. We know that Batman will be getting a Robin. Is it Damian? I certainly hope so. Damian naysayers, shut up. You're wrong. I have a show. You don't. Get your own show, and you can tell me I'm wrong. But I like Damian. He makes me happy. And I think he's a great emotional bond for Bruce, who, as we know, is not great at emotions. So I like Damian a lot. I'll be very happy to see him back if it's him. If it's not, I like the character Robin, and we could use one. So either way, I'll survive somehow. Daredevil by Mark Waid and Chris Samney. So damn good. And the most unlikely crossover you're ever going to see in a comic book, while Daredevil is holding the Shroud in a chokehold and asking him questions. He's like, "You gonna kill me?" And he says, "Yes." And Daredevil's response, let's see if I can line this up right. This little panel here. Daredevil's response says, "Bzz." Lying Cat says, "Lying." So yes, Matt Murdock, blind superhero of the Marvel Universe, reads Saga. Like this. Alright? So that made me happy. The what's happened to Foggy in between New York and here is revealed. And Matt is in all sorts of deep shit with the much more intimidating than he used to be Leland Owlsley, aka the Owl, another kingpin who pulled a criminal's version of what Daredevil did, which was say, "I'm getting the hell out of New York, there's too many costumes here, and it'd just be easier for me to set up shop on the other coast." So there's that. Super good. Hulk. We gotta wait till the next issue to find out what the full thing is, but by being Bruce got shot in the head. Bruce survived by turning into the Hulk, but Bruce was badly brain damaged. But because he can turn into the Hulk is all super regenerative. Hulk's brain has been healing, and therefore so is Bruce's. But Bruce's brain hasn't been healing evenly, so when he comes back, and now he's like every sentence, he goes from remembering everything to remembering. He's smart again, but he's got no memory. He's almost Drew Barrymore in 50 First Dates. You know, he's got a reset on what he can remember. So I'm gonna be sad when Mark Waid leaves this book, because I gotta tell you, most of what look, Sunspot's on the cover. How great is that? Just Sunspot holding on to the Hulk. So yeah, he kind of takes on the Avengers and the nanotech zombied, semi-resurrected Abomination. Just so damn good. So involved, this story, but so good. Indestructible. The Man of Stone. This is the story of a man who everyone thinks is invulnerable, but isn't. Well, this issue, last issue, his best friend tased an FBI agent, and they try and fake their way through how to get out of that, only to end up having to go to a magazine photo shoot for superheroes, but it's the body issue, so all the superheroes have to be naked. So now he's uncomfortable with that, but to demonstrate, they're all demonstrating their powers. His power is invulnerability. So they have Blaze, a Human Torch-esque character, about to engulf him in flames for his photo spread, and that's how the book ends, so we'll find out how that goes next issue. This book is very funny, and just an interesting little take on superheroes. Lola XOXO is fun to say, because it's Lola XOXO.
Number.
There's number 2. You know, I got 2B. Or not 2B. No, it is. It is. Even Hamlet knows. This is a strange little book. I dig the art. The colors are kind of cool and well done. But it's a like Lara Croft meets Road Warrior-esque kind of vibe to it. And yeah, you know, there's all sorts of secrets, lies, and half-truths going on, and a post-apocalyptic world, and a leading lady who's trying to come out into her own within said environs. Magneto by Cullen Bunn. So good. Great issue that goes back and forth between Magneto versus the Purifiers and Magneto reestablishing one of his old bases, and how he has this memorial for fallen mutants. Mutants have been killed by various anti-mutant activists, heroes, villains, and what have you. So he's got this list, and he just apparently travels around with this hard drive and updates it. So it's his digital version of like almost like one of those wall memorials, like the Vietnam Wall or whatever. And you've got just all these names of mutants that Magneto feels he failed because he didn't find them in time to save them, and they've all been killed by these. And it's just this constant scrolling, just sad and somber list of what goes on. And it's really, really good. And you get to see, again, like we were talking with Lex Luthor, Magneto knows he's doing bad things, but he feels he's justified because he's fighting fire with fire. So, is he a villain? Yes. But he's, a motivated one. Cullen Bunn again with villains. Sinestro number 2. This was number 4. All right, Sinestro number 2. Dale Eaglestrom's art, great. Sinestro reestablishing his ownership of his core and getting ready to just make it his again, because he wants to fight for justice his way. And before he can worry about trust and all that trust and leadership in his crew, he needs to get control of his crew. So he takes down Aquilo and sets up the core under his regime yet again, and then deals with the naysayers on a with a private mission kind of thing, and a semi-reconciliation, tentative reconciliation with his daughter, because his main mission right now is to find the last survivors of the blown up Korugar and set up a new homeworld for his people. Just really protecting his people is all he ever wanted to do anyway. Skyward number 7 out of Action Lab. Jeremy Dale's creator-owned fantasy is just really, really good. I love his art, I love his story, I love his concepts, I love his characters, and I love his Rabbites. Giant, super muscular warrior bunny people. And done completely straight. They're not like handled like, oh, they're supposed to be a joke because they're bunny people. No, the point, you're like, oh, they're bunnies, haha. Oh, they're beating the crap out of us. Run away. And they're just great. It's like if Chewbacca and that one rabbit-eared chick from the one Final Fantasy game,
Fran.
yeah, Fran from Final Fantasy
12.
12. If they had a baby, it'd be these rabbis. Good news is they get their diction skills from their mother. They can speak beyond the garros. Because a bunny going grrr would just be weird. Wonder Woman number 31. I continue to love this book. She's fighting for men's rights on Paradise Island, on Themyscira.
What?
You got to get with the times here. The gods of Olympus are losing quickly to the firstborn, and sooner or later, Wonder Woman's going to have to really get up in there. We lose a lot of gods this way. Really, really good. A lot of insight. A lot of character moments. Again, apparently that's the kind of thing I like in books. But just so well done. And I love who did the artwork on this one? Goran Suzuka. Falls very into the Cliff Chang wheelhouse, and I've loved that kind of art on this book. It's so simple, it's so clean, and is able to show so much. And that's what I don't like, the overly done, liney kind of stuff. Pathfinder number 1, City of Secrets. It's Jim Zub on a fantasy book, so you know it's good. And I've been really digging this Pathfinder stuff. I'm gonna have to sooner or later actually break down and play the Pathfinder game, and then I'll be upset because just like way back when I first got into Dungeons and Dragons, and I wanted to play the characters I saw either on the cartoon or read in the books, and you really can't, or if you do, you're playing them, and you end up realizing, wow, I'm just role-playing fanfic, and I'm not getting the full vibe. So I'm going to be very disappointed that I can't be in this party, and then we'll eventually have to find my groove with my own character. But that's how good it is. It's motivating me to break out my dice. Shadow Year 1 continues to be what I say every time I review one. It's like the Shadow, the animated series, and I love it. This is number 9. Green Hornet, number 12. Really, what Mark Waid's been doing is exploring how good an idea is pretending to be a bad guy so that you can be a good guy. Because people, if you convince people that you're the bad guy, yes, you're able to do the stuff you want to do as a good guy, but people are also going to do bad guy shit in your name because they think they're impressing you or pissing you off or taking you. So he's really opening more of a can of worms than he's able to contain. And it's really like, this is like Green Hornet soul searching. Shadow Midnight in Moscow is exactly what it looks like. It's Howard Chaykin on the Shadow. So Howard Chaykin is one of those, he's very polarizing. Everybody I know always seems to either love Howard Chaykin or hate Howard Chaykin. I usually love him. So that's up to you. I've never heard somebody say, oh, Howard Chaykin, he's okay. It's always, oh my God, I love Howard Chaykin, or oh, Howard Chaykin. So depending on which camp you fall into, this book could be for you or it could not. And to end everything, we've got The Movement, trade number 1, which makes me sad because last week I reviewed The Movement issue number 12, which was the last issue of The Movement. So you should buy this trade to realize how good this was. I mean, it's Gail Simone, so come on. It's good. It's Freddie Williams on art, so it was good there. And these characters, not only are they great, but with the exception of Rainmaker, everybody in here is actually new. Like the new 52, not a new version of someone that exists. These are new. And they're really, really cool characters, and I will miss them already. I will miss Virtue and Vengeance Moth and Mouse, Burden, and even Catharsis. I'm going to miss these characters. They were so great, and it's not too late for you to read these and find out why you really dropped the ball by not reading this in the first place. Alright? So I leave you, interwebs. I will see you next week.